What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about creating a vision for your gardening space. It's quite sunny outside, so I wanted to take this conversation out here. It is a little windy, so hopefully it ain't too bad. You guys can hear me just fine. Right. Ooh, it's bright. So, like I said, I wanted to talk about creating a vision for your garden. Aside from gardening being a thing of us growing food for ourselves to nourish our bodies and to know exactly where our food is coming from and what is being put in it, I also use my gardening space as an outlet for myself to create and to have a space of solitude. So last year I gave myself like a goal of wanting to grow more flowers and just create a more aesthetic layout of my garden. The one thing that I feel I failed on was actually planning, as far as knowing how many flowers I needed to grow, how many plants I needed to create like a certain balance, really paying attention to the height of certain plants, variety of plants. And so this year I wanted to be just a little bit more intentional about growing more things, which we've discussed before when we were talking about creating a garden plan. But also I want to take into account the height of things and just have a more design element in my planning. Earlier this week, I posted a video of all the flowers that I plan to grow. And so today I am going to just kind of have a video form of a journal. That way I can go back and make sure I have everything that I need, and just to make sure that I'm like checking off everything on the list. So we're gonna go out to the garden and we're gonna discuss all of this stuff. Okay. Making my way downtown. Walking fast. All right, so when I look at my garden space, this is typically like my viewpoint, being that I have these arch trellises, I have these green stalks. It's like a little anchoring aesthetic. This is like what I consider the entryway into my garden. You can see I have these stakes put in place, and that is pretty much going to mark where I want to put a majority of my focal point as far as my flowers are concerned. So I pretty much roughly measured out about a foot into the bed. I want to fill like these front areas with tons and tons of flowers. And then as for my green stalks, I'm going to do a mixture of both flowers and leafy greens. So I have a ton of lettuces and spinach and stuff like that to fill these up with, but I need to get some flowers started. So the idea that I have is that I want to put in some peppers, more low growing things in these areas, and then further back on the back corner of these beds I want to put all of my tomatoes. So probably about 6 tomatoes in each one of these beds. This side here has a lot more like herbs, so like my sage and my lavender is there, so I might end up transplanting those to stick those elsewhere, just because I know I want to use that space for something else. I just remembered that I have rhubarb here and it is starting to pop up. That's exciting. So the next focal point is obviously this lovely trellis, which I purchased from Gardener Supply. This is the Titan Squash Tunnel, I believe. I will make sure to link that on the screen. But this is going to be another focal point in my garden when you are coming in from this area. So I really wanted to create like a beautiful like frontal facing appearance. So on this trellis, I'm going to have a mixture of flowers, beans, and some like larger like winter squashes and things of that such. So starting off in the front, I really wanted to create like a wham of an effect. So morning glories, they grow vigorous and they continue to bloom all summer long. So that is definitely something that I wanted to have in my garden. So something that I also kept in mind was that I have some hollyhocks that have been growing on this edge over here, and then I do have some chamomile growing in each corner. But beyond that, I want to grow some low growing flowers right on the front edge of these beds as well. You can see this guy is filled with all the garlic right now, so this bed will actually turn into like a bean bed is what I was thinking, because the garlic will be harvested probably like late June, what the hell, late June, early July, and beans grow really fast. So that's going to be a nice little area to pop those things in. There is a little bit more space in the front of this guy, so I'm thinking I might put like maybe some summer squashes right there as well. We'll see what happens. And then over here, this bed gets the least amount of sun, so this will be my green bed. All of my collards, my kales, things of that nature will go back here because they can really use the shade once it starts to get really hot. And I'm also thinking about putting some peas on that trellis, and then on this back trellis here has always been like the area that I've grown my sweet peas in as well. Hi, supporty over here. All right, so looking on the back end, I also wanted to create just a little bit more visual interest. So I'm thinking about putting some climbing nasturtiums on each side of these guys. Again, these guys will benefit from a little bit of shade, so like having them on the back edge back here where it's a little bit more shaded will be perfectly fine. In addition to the squash, the beans, and what else did I mention? The morning glories that are going to be on these trellises. I'll also be having some cucumbers on this side because again, it'll have a little bit more shade. So as it starts to get really hot, they can use a little bit of shade just so they don't pewter out as fast. So those will be some of the first things that I put in on this side of the trellis as well. So obviously back here I have my seating as well, so I want to be sure to create some nice like potted flower arrangements and things like that. Last year I had, what did I have back here? I had coleus, I had some impatiens, and something else, something that draped over. Thinking about switching that up. I want more color on this table, so I'll create something nice to go back here. And I'm also thinking, hold on, let me turn you guys around where Annabelle is. I'm thinking of putting some potted flowers on each side here as well, because I do like to sit in this area a lot in the summertime. So I would like to have something nice to look at besides the vegetables when I'm sitting over here. And we're going to discuss Solana's garden, the metal raised beds, which were furnished by Vajega. Thank you guys so much again for sending those out. If you guys are interested in these metal raised beds, definitely check out the links in the description bar below. I do have I believe it's a 10% off coupon. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself, but 10% coupon code down in the description as well. So in addition to the actual plants and flowers, I also wanted to pick up more decor. So definitely let me know down in the comment section where you guys prefer to pick up gardening decor. I've been to Hobby Lobby, not recently, not this year, but in the past, that's where I've picked up miscellaneous things. So if you guys have another store that you would recommend or any like specific things on Amazon, share, please. So that pretty much wraps up this video. I just wanted to go outside with you guys, show y'all what I was thinking about as far as design for the garden this year. Hopefully you guys are excited to see. If you are, please make sure that you go ahead and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions, last year in the front where like I wanted to have more flowers, I grew some dahlias, which were great, but I didn't have a good staking system. So I'm thinking something that doesn't require staking would be best. So if you have suggestions, leave them down in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you guys think. And that is pretty much it for this video. So I thank you all so much for stopping by. I wish you health, wealth, and prosperity. And until the next time, peace.